In today's video, I am going to be breaking down how Kevin Garnett shot the ball. He was really well known for his turnaround jumpers and his mid-range jump shots. So let's get down and let's check him out. So one thing that Kevin Garnett was really known for was his high set point. His set point was extremely high. It was essentially over his right shoulder and just above his head. Now, this is not necessarily a set point for most players. However, if you are a bit taller, this high set point where that elbow is essentially at the same height as your eyes already, and then you keep that close to 90-degree angle on your arm or on your elbow, you're going to be extremely successful getting that shot up over top of taller players. Now, Kevin Garnett did not have a dip on his shot. He did roughly have his feet shoulder width apart, roughly just a bit wider than his shoulders, and he did slightly bring his knees together. From there, when he did rise up into his shot, that ball went up that right side of his body, slightly towards the middle though, and he did not bend that elbow on the way up. Now, the reason why you really don't want to bend that elbow on the way up is, of course, because you don't want to have any extra movements to create inconsistencies. When he went to release that ball, we can see that he did not have any thumb flick at all, and we can see that his middle finger was the last release point on the ball. We can also see that his elbow was roughly at his eye height when he was about to release it, but after releasing it is well above his forehead, which gives him a lot of arc on that ball. Something else that Kevin Garnett did have on that ball was a ridiculous amount of backwards rotation. That's why when the ball hit the rim, it was always hitting the rim super soft. The more backwards rotation you have on that ball, the better essentially. And of course, if you've got longer hands like Kevin Garnett, this should be even easier for you. From a side angle, we can see that his shoulders were over top of his knees and were essentially over top of his toes as well. And when he did extend, he extended his back first. And then when he went up for his shot, that's when he used his thighs as well as his calves. So it's a little bit backwards of what you're usually used to. Usually you'll see a player extend their knees and back essentially at the same time, and that is much different. Now, Kevin Garnett, one thing that he did really well was these turnaround jumpers where he would use that shoulder fake. Now, when he uses this shoulder fake, what he would do is when he turns towards his left side, he is a right-handed player, which means that he's got a left side tilt. And when you're going up, when you're turning towards your left, when your back is towards the basket, you have a massive tilt towards the right. You need to correct that, and to correct that, he kicks that leg out, and you should be doing this too, so that you also can get your shoulder and elbow pointed towards the rim. This is exactly what you want to see, because this will allow you to line up your shot, and then when you go up for your release, you can have your regular release as you normally would be shooting anyways. We can also see from this angle, that little shadow that we see there, that he does have a space between his palm and the ball, and this is important to be able to keep a lot of grip on the ball. Now, when he did these turnaround jumpers towards his right side, he would have even more tilt away from the rim. Now, the reason for this is so that he can get up into the air faster. All you really need to do is to get that shoulder and elbow in line, keeping that ball above that upper arm to create that shooting triangle. And if you can have a nice soft release with a lot of backspin, you can really mess up a lot of defenders. And we can see here that with a quick release, he will have a split finger release as well on that ball. Now, what I mean by this is if he goes up quickly, we can see at times that he does have a pointer and middle finger release. And because of this, again, I always mention this, you have to be able to shoot with all three fingers. You need to be able to shoot with a pointer and middle finger release. You need to be able to shoot with a middle finger only, as well as a middle finger and ring finger release. And the reason for this is because depending on the situation, if you feel like your body is more tilted or your elbow's too far under the ball, you can then, of course, change your release when you're going up for your shot. However, most players will shoot with a middle finger release, but as we can see here, Kevin Garnett's able to shoot with multiple different style finger releases. Now, on a nice set shot, when he goes up for a shot, he does have that tilt towards his left, and he brings that ball up the right side or middle side of his body, and he brings it to the right shoulder, right literally on top of that shoulder, having that elbow pointing towards that rim, and it's over top of his head. This is what allowed him to get that shot up over so many taller players. He also had times where when he was going up for not necessarily a traditional jump shot, but more of a floater, there was times that he would actually have it come off of his pointer or index finger and to be able to score. This is the ability. This takes a lot of practice. Being able to use every single finger on your hand to be able to make a shot. This is extremely important for your success if you want to be able to finish over and around anybody. He was a very skilled offensive player. I hope that this video helps you be able to shoot the basketball better. Kevin Garnett was one of the greatest players to ever play the power forward position. I actually kind of see a lot of Chris Bosh and in Kevin Garnett and vice versa, because of course Chris Bosh did say that he did model his game around Kevin Garnett, so keep that in mind. I hope that you've enjoyed today's video. Hit that like button, subscribe, go check out my vertical jump training book down in the description below.